In the year 645, the legendary Emperor Li Shimin, known as the God of War, personally led 200,000 troops in an invasion of Goguryeo. One by one, the fortified cities of Gemu, Besa, and Liudong fell swiftly under the Tang army's relentless advance. With the kingdom's survival hanging in the balance, Goguryeo's commander, Yeon Gasomun, rallied 150,000 men for a desperate last stand against Li Shimin at Mount Jupil. This was a battle that would decide the fate of a nation. Among the ranks was Samul, a young trainee soldier burning with passion and hungry for glory. Goguryeo's iron cavalry charged like a dark tide across the battlefield. The infantry stood firm, shields locked like a wall, spears bristling like a forest. But they faced an even mightier force, the Tang army. Li Shimin's cavalry struck like a blade, cutting straight into the heart of Goguryeo's formation. When the armies clashed, the battlefield became hell on earth. Then, from the Tang rear, a hidden detachment suddenly attacked. It was a trap Li Shimin had set all along. Caught between two fronts, Goguryeo's lines collapsed, and the army scattered in total defeat. Samul watched helplessly as his comrades fell around him, men who had been his brothers in arms moments ago, now lifeless corpses. Overwhelmed by despair, he fled in humiliation with the broken remnants of the army. After the battle, Yeon Gaesomun counted his survivors. Of the 150,000 men, only a few thousand remained. Meanwhile, in the Tang camp, Li Shimin examined another prize, Simi, a mysterious Goguryeo woman with the power of prophecy. What fascinated him even more was the legendary divine bow she carried, yet no one could draw it. Just then, a new intelligence report arrived. On the road to Goguryeo's capital, Pyongyang, only one fortress stood in the way, Ansi City. Even better, its lord, Yang Man-chun, was Yeon Gaesomun's sworn enemy. And Simi, before becoming a shamaness, had once been betrothed to Yang Man-chun. Li Shimin laughed. He could already picture Ansi City surrendering without a fight. On the other side, the defeated Yeon Gaesomun directed all his rage at Yang Man-chun, blaming him for refusing to send reinforcements, a decision that had led to the disaster at Mount Jupil. He summoned Samul and, exploiting the young man's hatred, gave him a secret mission. He even declared the people of Ansi City traitors and abandoned them to their fate. His orders were clear: kill Yang Man-chun, then return to Pyongyang at once. Burning with vengeance and carrying the commander's sealed orders, Samul set out for Ansi City. Along the way, he met a band of stragglers also heading there to fight, and they traveled together. After many hardships, they finally caught sight of the legendary fortress. Outside the walls, they encountered a group of civilians repairing wooden stakes. The man in charge was dressed plainly, covered in mud, indistinguishable from any ordinary laborer. Samul stepped forward and asked to see Lord Yang Man-chun. The man's reply stunned them all.
내가 양만춘이라니까.
Yang Man-chun had seen through their disguises at a glance. He knew these weren't regular soldiers. He ordered their horses searched, and sure enough, their saddles held no hidden rations, something real troops would never be without. His lieutenant immediately accused them of being Tang spies and drew his sword. In the chaos, one of Samul's companions panicked and killed the officer. The situation spiraled out of control. At the critical moment, Samul revealed his true identity, claiming to be the eldest son of the Yeombu family of Ansi City. Yang Man-chun decided to take him inside for questioning. Once inside, Samul saw a city at peace. Yang Man-chun treated the people like family, encouraging children to learn horseback riding, personally escorting a lost elderly woman home, and even stepping in to settle a dispute among his men over unequal food rations.
밀집대요! 뭐 때문에 다툰 거냐? 형, 넌 앞으로 화가 날 때마다 무조건 10가지 세라. 10가지 세라고. 활보, 넌 궁 근처로 무조건 5보 이상 떨어져라.
This kind, beloved lord was nothing like the traitor Yon Gae-suman had described. Samul's resolve began to waver. During the interrogation, Yang Man-chun pointed an unstrung bow at Samul and asked if he was truly ready to live or die with Ansi City.
저도 안시성과 운명을 함께하고 싶습니다.
Samul's firm answer earned him temporary trust. He was appointed flag bearer and allowed to stay by the Lord's side. But the lieutenant, Chu Suji, never stopped watching him with suspicion. By now, Tang scouting parties were appearing outside the walls. War was imminent. Yang Man-chun ordered the city to prepare for siege, and tension filled the air. Before the battle, Yang Man-chun gave Samul a short knife and asked Samul to shave him. Samul held the blade, his mind torn. This was his chance to assassinate Yang Man-chun. But as he looked at the man's unguarded neck, he hesitated. In the end, he lowered the knife. Yang Man-chun seemed to have seen through everything. He simply told Samul, "Not yet." Soon, 200,000 Tang soldiers arrived at the gates of Ansi City. The sea of black armor stretched as far as the eye could see, and the massive siege engines reeked of death. Inside the city, the defenders numbered only 5,000. The odds were impossible. Facing overwhelming forces, Yang Man-chun climbed the city walls and delivered a rousing speech to his troops. He reminded them that behind them stood the people of Ansi City, the families they were sworn to protect with their lives.
우리에게 소중한 건 바로 저들이다. 저들을 지키기 위해 싸우자.
Below the walls, Li Shimin spurred on his men with promises of plunder and slaughter. The brutal siege began. The Tang catapults struck first, hurling enormous boulders that crashed into the walls. The defenders suffered heavy losses, but the walls of Ansi City held firm. Then, the Tang infantry surged forward like a tide, scaling ladders and pushing siege towers toward the battlements. Yang Man-chun commanded with calm precision, ordering his men to repel the attack with rolling logs, caltrops, and arrows. The air filled with the screams of the dying, and bodies piled up on both sides.
자기 자리를 지켜라!
아이 깊숙이도 막혔네. 아, 왜 오반에 들어왔다.
저 등신 새끼 저거 사람 되게 글러.
When the Tang battering rams neared the gates, Yang Man-chun sent out cavalry and female warriors in a flanking attack, buying the city precious time. Inside the gates, the defenders formed a human shield wall, holding the doors shut with their own bodies. Using clever mechanisms and ballistae, they destroyed the rams and secured the gate. The first assault ended in failure. Ansi City had won a brief respite. After the battle, Samul confronted Yang Man-chun, asking why he had ignored Yeongai Sumun's orders, leading to the destruction of Goguryeo main army. Yang Man-chun replied that fighting the Tang in the open was suicide. His duty was to protect this city and its people. The second assault was even fiercer. The Tang brought forward towering siege towers. Yang Man-chun led from the front, firing flaming arrows to set the towers ablaze. In the chaos, he was struck by an arrow and badly wounded. Samul saved him at the critical moment. Frustrated by his repeated failures, Li Shimin resorted to a final gambit. He sent Simi to persuade Yang Man-chun to surrender.
어떻게 여기까지 올 수 있었어?
당황제가 저를 보냈습니다.
She warned him that the Tang were building a massive earthen mound taller than the city walls, from which they would launch their final attack. She had seen a vision in the Tang camp, Ansi City's fall. As Yang Man-chun's former fiancé, she begged him to surrender. But Yang Man-chun refused. His only belief was to defend Ansi City to the last. As the mound grew higher, panic spread through the city. Paso, the cavalry captain, decided to lead a night raid on the Tang camp to assassinate Li Shimin. It was a suicide mission. His sister Baek Ha was heartbroken but powerless to stop him.
성안이 밀고지고 있다.
The raid was a trap. Paso's cavalry was wiped out, and only he returned, mortally wounded. With his dying breath, he gasped, "There's a traitor among us." Then he died in Yang Man-chun's arms. The traitor was Simi. She had betrayed her own people to force Yang Man-chun's surrender.
우린 이 전쟁에서 질 수밖에 없어. 그것이 신의 뜻입니다.
그만해!
내 말을 부정할 수 있는 자가 있다면 나를 죽여요. 제발 모두를 죽음으로 몰지 마십시오.
Devastated, Baek Ha refused to accept the truth. She charged into the Tang camp alone, determined to avenge her brother by killing Li Shimin. She fought valiantly, but was cut down in the end. A series of blows left Yang Man-chun physically and mentally exhausted, but he knew he couldn't afford to fall. Meanwhile, Samul volunteered to ride to Pyongyang and plead with Yeongae Soman for reinforcements. He condemned the commander's selfishness and begged for aid, arguing that the people of Ansi City were just as much a part of Goguryeo as anyone else. Back in Ansi City, Yang Man-chun drew inspiration from children at play. He ordered the miners to dig tunnels beneath the Tang's earthen mound. It was a race against time. Just as the mound neared completion, the miners broke through, but the supporting beams, soaked by rain, wouldn't catch fire. To save the city, the lead miner and his men chose to stay behind, hacking at the beams with axes. The mound collapsed, but the breach opened toward Ansi City. Yang Man-chun seized the moment. He led his exhausted army out of the gates and claimed the mound of dirt as their final battleground. The last battle unfolded on the mound. Both sides were spent. The defenders had no arrows left, but the Tang attacks kept coming. In this desperate hour, Yang Man-chun picked up the legendary divine bow, the one no one could draw. He believed that if the gods of Goguryeo had not abandoned them, this bow would fire the arrow that could change their fate. Before the eyes of all, he strained with every ounce of his strength and pulled the bowstring back. A single arrow carrying the hopes of the entire city soared through the sky and struck Li Shimin in the eye, far behind the enemy lines. The Tang commander fell, wounded. His army faltered. And then, on the horizon, a cloud of dust rose. Sam'el finally arrived with Yeongaiso's reinforcements. The Tang army, caught between two fronts, retreated in disarray. Ansi City, this small and seemingly insignificant fortress, had achieved the impossible, a miracle in the annals of war. After the battle, Sam'el bid farewell to Yang Man-chun. He said he was returning to Pyongyang to finish his studies. He thanked Yang Man-chun not just for defending Ansi City, but for protecting the very land they all called home. Yang Man-chun only smiled and told him, "This city was defended by all of us, together." High above the walls, the battle flag of Ansi, symbol of its unbreakable spirit, would forever fly proud.